In Unit 1 up till now, we have discussed various aspects of service industries, trends. As far as service sector is concerned, we talked about the reason for growth in services. We classified services, we compared goods and services. We talked about service mix categories and marketing implication for each of the unique characteristics of services. And then once we completed this, we move over to 7 P's of service marketing. And in 7 P's up till now we have discussed the product, price, place, promotion, as well as in the last session that we had, we talked about the physical evidence, and I gave you an example to make you understand how important physical evidence is in attracting the customer and in making him buy the services, right? So today now we are going to discuss the 6th P, which is the process. So in service marketing, process is also very, very important. That is not the case with goods. And what process are we basically referring to? Have a look. Process is the process of delivering services, right? So how you deliver service, that process we are talking about. Fine. Why is it not important in case of goods marketing? Why? Because how you manufacture a toothpaste, Colgate brand let's say, or a soap, Lux, is immaterial to the customer, right? On the other hand, in case of services, the customer is present when the services are being delivered. So the process of delivering the service is also going to impact him, is also going to have a great influence on him. For example, when as a customer you go to a barber or you go to a beautician who will do manicure or pedicure for you, the process of delivering service would have a great influence on you. It would greatly impact you as a customer because you are also present there. And that is why it becomes even more important in case of service marketing to manage the process well. Because if there's a problem with the process, if the process goes haywire, then naturally the service delivery would suffer and the customer would not be satisfied, right? So we are basically talking about process of delivering service. Please understand that processes can be of different types: labor intensive and capital intensive. Labor intensive, for example, where you are using more of labor, while capital intensive is where you are using more of machinery. Fine. If you look at this car washing services, but here you see that most of the job is being done by the workers. So this is labor intensive. And the same service can also be provided using machines and equipments. Then in this case you don't require even one person washing the car. Only one person would be probably managing these machines. These are big machines, right? They will rotate and they will clean up the dust from the body of the car. These will clean up sideways, and while at the top this would clean, and then there would be some water which also would be showered here, and this way the car would get clean. Here you are making use of machinery. So this is the difference between labor intensive services, labor intensive processes and capital intensive processes. Then high customer interaction versus low customer interaction. Now what do we mean by this? Now for example, supposing you have gone to a doctor. Now this is a process which requires high level of customer interaction because the customer has to tell the doctor about what his or her problem is. The patient has to tell the doctor, then only the doctor would be able to make the correct diagnosis. So there would be significant interaction between the doctor and the patient, or the service provider and the customer. On the other hand, if you have gone to get your shoe mended, right, or maybe your sandal mended, then in that case you do not need to interact closely with this service provider, the cobbler. You will just hand him over the shoe and he will do the mending and he will hand it back to you. You do not need to closely interact with him and many a times that is why what happens is you hand over the shoe to the cobbler and tells him that I will be back in 10 minutes. By that time, kindly polish my shoes, right? So in the meanwhile, while he's polishing your shoes, you'll go around and you might purchase a few items which you had to purchase for your household, and then you'll return, because there is no interaction required as such between the customer and the service provider, in this case between you and the cobbler. And then there are processes which are high in customization, and then those which are low in customization. For example, just like right now I'm delivering a lecture to you, it is low in customization. I'm not customizing the message according to every single student. Some student may still be comfortable in Hindi, so I'm not customizing the message according to him. There is one single session that I'm taking for all types of students. So basically I'm not doing any customization. I'm having a standard model of service delivery, standard teaching method, and I'm using that without customizing it to every single student's need, right? So this is an example of low customization I have shown here using this particular picture, wherein this particular teacher is teaching maybe 50 to 60 guys, and he is not customizing his lecture according to every single individual in the room. He has come up with a standardized version of his lecture which he'll deliver to everybody, right? On the other hand, have a look at this particular wedding planner in Mumbai, Band Baza Barat, after the movie Band Baza Barat. They have named themselves, and now have a look at what they are doing. Basically they do the event management stuff, which means they would plan the wedding, they would organize the various ceremonies, they would make arrangements for food and refreshment for the guest. Many times they would also receive the guests from the airport, they would select the gifts for the guests. So this is what they will be doing. So wedding planners they are. But please understand, here there is scope for high level of customization. They would customize their service according to the requirement of the particular family which they are catering to. So if it's a South Indian family where the marriages generally take place early in the morning, so they would make sure that the marriages take place early in the morning, and they would accordingly customize their services. On the other hand, North Indian houses generally marriage takes place towards late evening, late night, right? So they would accordingly customize their services. So this is the difference between high versus low customization. Please understand that the service process is less variable in few cases, right? Now can you make me understand where the service process would be less variable, where there would be less variation between one instance of providing service and the other instance? Where, for example, I'm taking this example now, every single car that is washed with the same kind of quality, right? Do you think there would be more variability here? Which means no two cars would get the same kind of wash or would have the same quality of wash, or would there be more variability here where workers are involved? Please understand that where workers are involved, there are more chances of variation. Let me give you another example. When you go to ATM, the quality of service is almost the same every single time you go there. You need to devote the same amount of time to withdraw money. The ATM functions in almost the same manner. While if you go physically to a branch, you would see that the quality of service may differ a lot. One instance you may have to wait just for 3 minutes, and in some other instance where there is a lot of crowd, you might have to wait for 30 minutes. So there's scope for more variability when the workers are involved, human resources are involved, where laborers are involved. The variations may be more. In case of machines, the variability would be much less, right? Like in the case of ATM. Fine. So here, if you are using this particular machine, every single car would be washed for the same duration and for the same and in the same manner, right? So there would be less variability here. Fine. So less variability when capital intensive process, which means you are not making use of workers, you are making use of machinery. Again, there would be less variability when the customer interaction is low. Now in this situation, the variability would be low. Why? Because there is no interaction with the customer as such, or very slight interaction with the customer. Here there is a lot of interaction with the customer. If the customer, in this case this patient, is not able to articulate her problem well, the doctor would not be able to do the correct diagnosis and would not be able to recommend the right kind of medicines. And naturally this would be a problem with the service delivery, and the patient would not be satisfied and he would probably switch to some other doctor in future. Right? On the other hand, here, because the customer interaction is much low, even if the customer is not being present, even then, even whether he is present or not, it's not going to make any difference, and the quality of service provided by the cobbler would almost be the same, right? So variability would be less when there is low customer interaction. Fine. Again, variability would also be less when there is less customization. So there would be less variability here, while there would be significant amount of variability in case of event management. No two events have to be of the same kind. Why? Because you are customizing your events according to the requirement of the client or the customer. So the quality may vary a lot. On the other hand, here the teacher comes again the next day, or maybe the next to next day, there would be much less variation in the quality of his lecture. Of course, there are chances of variation. He may not be in a good mood one particular day, or he may not have had good breakfast on a particular day, so he may not be able to deliver lecture. So there would be slight variations in quality, but overall variability would be less when there is low level of customization. Fine. Now let's talk about the service performance process blueprint, and we are going to talk about this in detail also in unit 1 only in the coming lectures. Please understand that this is also, service blueprint is probably also part of unit 2 in your syllabus, but I am taking it up here because it would be more prudent to discuss it here. It would be more relevant now that we are discussing processes. Service performance process blueprint. Now we'll have a look at it, what it means. Basically, it includes standard operating procedures, and it includes service performance process or the service blueprint. Now this is an example of a service blueprint, but please do not confuse that blueprint means something colored in blue or figure which has been colored in blue. Blueprint basically means some kind of a plan, and this is the service plan, right? Have a look at these things. What will the customer do? Customer actions. What will be the contact actions? What do we mean by this? Those employees in your organization who are delivering the service, what do they do? What about those who are not delivering the service but they are helping those who are delivering the service from behind? Then that would be an example of backstage contact actions, and then there would be some support processes. Fine. Now let me give an example. When you come to the class, whatever you do is the customer action, and when I teach you, whatever I do is the on-stage contact action. But to be able to teach you, I need to have 24/7 electricity supply. So there might be somebody in the college who might be ensuring that I get 24/7 electricity supply, or maybe somebody ensuring that I get a proper infrastructure to run my class. So that would be an example of backstage contact action. And what about the support processes? Everything which supports the delivery of service is part of support processes. Fine. Now have a look at this line of interaction and line of visibility. What do we mean by this? Line of interaction is a line which separates the customer and the service provider. However, the two can interact with each other easily, right? So the line of interaction is the one which basically tells you where the customer is, what does he do, and where the on-stage actors are who are delivering the service to the customer, and what are they doing. On the other hand, what is line of visibility? Line of visibility is beyond which the customer cannot see anything, though things are taking place there also. Beyond line of visibility, the customer is simply not able to see anything. Fine. Let me describe to you what this particular diagram means. Now, customer actions. Now basically this is a service blueprint, and this is a small part of the service blueprint for a hospital, and there's actually specified the customer actions. So first of all, the customer would come and park his car and then request help from staff, and then he will have to probably fill out some forms, go to the examination room where preliminary diagnosis is made, then meet with the doctor along with the report of your preliminary diagnosis, and then you may also receive some treatment, and then you have to go to pharmacy, and then you have to leave the hospital. So this is what the customer is doing. Now what about on-stage actors? So they are actually responding to the customer request. For example, when the customer arrives by car, then the on-stage actors, it could be the peon at the gate, he is doing what? He is actually issuing a parking pass to the customer's vehicle, right? So this is an example of on-stage customer action. Greet and register, he might be greeting the incoming customer also, and would be noting down his details in a register. Fine. So these are things which would be done by the on-stage actors who are involved in delivering the service to you. But they alone are not sufficient, because they are being assisted by somebody in the back room. So these people who help from outside, who help prepare the base for the on-stage actors to do everything to satisfy the customer, such entities are known as backstage contact actions, and the support services they use are known as support processes. Fine. So this is how you depict the way in which the service would be delivered, what the customer would be doing, what the first line of service providers, the ones which are dealing with the customer face to face, they would be doing, what would be done by the backstage actors who are not actually face to face with the customer, but they are playing a very important role in delivering of the service. And then what about the support service? So you've tried to understand all these things. Remember the definition of line of interaction. It is a partition between the customer and the first stage service provider, or the front desk service providers. And what about line of visibility, beyond which the customer cannot see anything, right? So let me give an example. When you go to a chaat wala, for example, you first of all stand at the thela, and therein then you ask for the price, and then you order him ki okay, ek bhuni hui tikki de dena, right? So these are customer actions. What the owner of that particular thela does in front of you, they are examples of on stage contact actions. But please understand, when he is preparing the tikki for you, it may so have happened that the potatoes for that purpose could have been boiled by his wife. So in that sense, but you do not know, you are not in touch with the wife, and you do not see the wife also, you do not know about this, and basically the wife would then become the backstage contact actor. Is that fine? Right? And then there would be different support services which would be provided to the thela wala. For example, somebody might have provided him maybe supply of water so that he can prepare his tikki or the golgappas. So those are examples of support services. Now please understand what is line of interaction when you are interacting with the on-stage service provider. So that is an example of line of interaction. And what you do not see, supposing he does not wash the utensils in front of you, but goes to a place maybe 5 meters away from there, at a distance of 5 meters, and there behind the curtains he simply rinses the used utensils with just water without applying any soap, and then comes back to his counter, and then he uses the same utensils to deliver the food to you. So herein you could not see how the utensils were washed. So that was where your line of visibility was, because you could not see beyond that. But yes, you are seeing him frying the tikki, so that is before your line of visibility, that is visible to you. So something that is not visible is beyond your line of visibility. which means if he is washing the utensils behind a curtain so as to not let you know how that he is not applying any soap or any powder, he is simply rinsing it with water, then whatever he is doing there is basically beyond your line of visibility. Is that fine? So this is a discussion today, and tomorrow also we will be discussing this in a little more detail. We will be talking about blueprints, service blueprints in a more detailed fashion. Thank you very much for your time.